Welcome back to the channel. We got a new video for you today talking about everything Nebraska recruiting and everything else going on in the world of Nebraska football. But before I start, I really want to thank everybody for the support on the latest video. Really took me aback a little bit. Got a lot of new subscribers and a lot of views on that video. So I appreciate all of you guys for the support and continue to make content for you guys. Really like talking about this stuff with you. So without further ado, let's get into the news. I want to start off by talking about signing day. Signing day happened about a week ago. And I wanted to come on and make a video about it, but didn't really have the time. But let's just roll over the guys who committed to us on signing day. Most notably, number one, Malachi Coleman, top-rated player in this class from Nebraska. And the staff really made a movement. They tried to get him the second they were in place and had a couple home visits with him. Malachi Coleman, he didn't really go. Like when he decommitted from us when Rule first was appointed coach, he didn't really take any visits elsewhere. He went back here as a official visit, and then he went to Colorado. So he didn't have much interest anywhere else, but this was a nice get by the staff to really lock down the state. Rule mentioned that. He said his biggest priority is locking down the state going forward, so that was nice to mention. Another guy who, in my opinion, is the best player in this class is Princewell Emmanuelum. I definitely butchered that last name, but four-star edge from Texas. I mean, you watch this guy's film. He had 21 sacks in 2 years in high school. Reminds you a lot of Randy Gregory, but really he is an athletic player, really fast on the edge, and he is going to be a player who I'm going to love watch for the next 4 years. Really, really impressive. And like I said, I think he's the best player in this class. Next up, we got Ramir Stewart. He committed a little bit before signing day. And he is a really, really chippy, hard hitter at the safety position, 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, from Pennsylvania. And he was actually Max Prep's player of the year, one of the players of the year when he was a freshman in high school. He was on their all-freshman team. So he's been a top recruit for a long time, and he's just he's a chippy player. He's fast, he's explosive, and he's gonna hit you when you come down the field. Really like that get. Now going forward, going on here, we have Vincent Carroll Jackson, defensive lineman, and he flipped with Tony White, our new defensive coordinator, to come here. He was a commit to Syracuse. Really like him, big body, 6'5", 300 pounds. He is a nice get. And last but not least, Eric Fields, linebacker commit. Now, you look at the stars on him, he's currently ranked by 24/7 Composite, only a 3-star, top 900 in the class, in the country. You're not like blown away, but you watch his film and you say, how does this guy not have more offers? I mean, absolutely, he's an explosive player, really fast, twitchy athlete, and if you ask me, that's what we've needed the last 10 years at linebacker. We have guys, and I'm not going to say anything bad about Luke Reimer or Nick Henrich. I just want to use them as examples. Really good linebackers, but what they lack is speed and the twitchiness to make a play that we had when we had Levante David, for example. And Eric Fields is a guy who brings us that twitchiness at linebacker. I mean, just to make plays that guys like Reimer and other guys, they can't make. So it'll be nice to have him. He really underrated, probably the most underrated player in this class. I love him as a prospect. So that really wraps up signing day. Really successful class. And I didn't really think Rule was going to get it done. I didn't think he was going to have this successful as a class, but he has done really well. And there's 2 more commits on the way. We have Cameron Lenhart. Many know him. He was a 4-star D lineman, and he decommitted. He decommitted a little while ago. I think it was when Rule got, or it might have been when Frost got fired. I'll have to look that up after the video here. I'll look it up right now, actually. But he is set to commit on January 3rd. And last but not, and then we have Ethan Nation, who is a 4-star cornerback, also committing, and they're committing after the All-American Bowl game. So, those are both signed to Nebraska. Cameron Lenhart, there was a little glitch. I don't know if you saw this or not, but on the Nebraska website, Nebraska Huskers website, where they had so yeah, Lenhart didn't decommit after Frost got fired. But when they had the graphics of all the players who were signing on signing day, accidentally included Cameron Lenhart's. He was also noticed in the directory, in the UNL student directory. So he is signed. He is signed in Nebraska. And same thing with Ethan Nation, 4-star cornerback who went on a visit here a couple weeks ago. So he is an absolutely massive get. And that'll rank, if we land both those players, puts us at a top 25 class. Really impressive by Rule. And I keep saying the 23 class is going to be a really solid class. It's going to be a start. The 24 class, which we're going to get into in a second here, has a chance to be one of the best classes in the last 20 years. I mean, we're talking potentially top 10 if everything goes to plan. So, I mean, really nice job on signing day, and locking down Lenhart is definitely a big get. And of course, Ethan Nation, who came on the scene late, he is going to be a big get as well. He's a little bit of a smaller cornerback, but he's, again, a twitchy cornerback, 5'10", 170. I mean, he can make plays really fast. I really like that get when he signs on January 3rd. So that's about the 23 class wrapped up. Let's talk about the new transfers. We've had a bunch of them recently. So we just got one from Arizona State, Ben Scott. Now, he's offensive lineman, big, tall offensive lineman, 6'6", 300 pounds. And he played center last year for Arizona State. But talking to a couple Arizona State fans, he plays better at tackle. It'll be interesting to see where Donovan Raiola puts him at. But he's just an athlete. And position flex is one of the most underrated, attributes you can have as an offensive lineman. I mean, to be able to play tackle or go inside and play guard and even center like Ben Scott can. He can play anywhere on the offensive line. That's a great attribute. I mean, he's one of the better centers in the entire country. So this is a big get. And I expect Rule to not be done when it comes to adding offensive linemen. We need this unit to be good right away, because it was not good last year. I thought it was funny. I don't want to get off topic here, but Rule said during his signing day press conference, he said that he expects the O-line to be solid next year. And he said that it got better as the season went on last year. I don't know if I buy that per se, or maybe he's just talking up the team, but I hope that doesn't restrict him when it comes to picking up transfers on the O-line, because we need it. So let's get into another one. Elijah Judy, a lot of Husker fans know him as well. 6'3", 300 pounds. D-line transfer from Texas A&M. 24/7 has him ranked as a 3-star transfer. Really solid player. 4-star coming out of high school. Didn't really do much at Texas A&M. He was only there 1 year. But I think the staff promised him playing time. He said online somewhere that Nebraska kind of promised him playing time. That's why he chose us. So hopefully he makes an impact. Again, another twitchy athlete. Another guy that we got, Josh Fleeks, who I didn't even know was in the portal. A Baylor transfer. He actually played on a role. He's a 6th-year receiver. I'm a little bit reserved about this get. You look at his stats. He plays wide receiver and running back, but his statistics aren't great. I'm assuming he's going to be on scholarship. I don't love this get from a scholarship standpoint. If we offered, I'm pretty confident we offered him a scholarship. It's not a great get from that standpoint, because I don't really see him as making a dent in this wide receiver core. But you got to trust Rule. Rule coached him at Baylor, so maybe he'll make an impact. Chief Borders, Florida transfer. We talked about him a little bit in the last video. He hadn't committed at that point in time, but he's a nice get. Again, another Florida transfer, another guy who hasn't really done much, but really good recruit. And you got to trust Rule at this point. They obviously like someone with his athletic ability. Same thing with Collier. They trust that they can develop him, make him good. We talked about Sims a little bit in our last video, I'm pretty sure. But I want to talk about it a little more. Or I don't know if we talked about Sims. Oh, no, I don't think we did talk about Sims, because Sims committed recently, actually. So really quickly, talking about Jeff Sims. I like his athletic ability. He's an option quarterback. His stats aren't impressive. Like a 1-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. His rushing statistics aren't great. I mean, they're decent. They're decent, but you look at him and he's a run first quarterback. You watch this film. He's not a smart quarterback. He kind of struggles with the intangibles. I don't love the get, especially if they're expecting him to be our starting quarterback next year. And we'll get into Casey Thompson later and what he has to say about the Jeff Sims, because he was not very happy about us getting Jeff Sims. I'll say that much. And keep stay tuned for that, because I'll talk about Casey Thompson. But I don't love the get. I know he's probably going to start next year, because I don't think Casey's coming back. Spoiler, but if he can get us by for 1 year and then hand it over to Dylan Raiola, so be it. And there probably will be a quarterback battle. But one thing I'm going to say is that if we were going to take him, I'd rather have Logan Smothers. So that's talking about Jeff Sims a little bit. But those are the transfers that have happened so far. We're also pursuing a couple guys in the portal, but nobody really notable. There hasn't been like a guy that everyone's talked about and has, there hasn't been a guy where it's really newsworthy, I should say, that we're going after. But I'd imagine that's going to start to heat up after bowl games are done. More players are going to enter the portal. We'll have a lot more videos for you to talk about those guys. So that's really a transfer so far. Again, little reserved on Jeff Sims. I got to dig into a lot more of his film and a lot more. But in my ideal world, Casey Thompson will be back next year and starting, because I think Casey Thompson is the better quarterback. And I watched a lot of Satterfield offense, and I think, despite what people are saying, I think Casey fits that offense pretty well. So we'll see what happens there. But let's get into the 2024 class. Some Dylan Raiola updates, some other guys that I want to really briefly mention. So the 2024 class is now underway, really. We can start contacting those players. Official visits obviously coming in the summer and spring. But the Dylan Raiola rumors have heated up significantly. You might have saw the video went a little semi-viral on Husker Twitter of Dylan Raiola with his brother and sister wearing a Nebraska, just a Nebraska shirt, and everyone thought, "Oh my goodness, he's wearing a Nebraska shirt." There was also a tweet by a 4-star recruit, Aeryn Hampton, 4-star cornerback, who was basically saying, "I'm ready when you are," like to commit to Nebraska, and he tagged Dylan Raiola in that. So a lot of Nebraska fans, I've seen this around, that are saying that Dylan Raiola is committed, basically, and he's kind of peer recruiting other guys. I don't know if I buy that personally. I think Dylan Raiola still has his options open. I think he's still, because you got to remember, he decommitted from Ohio State 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. And I think he decommitted not because of Nebraska, but because of Ohio State. So when you decommit because of Ohio State and you decommit because of their problems, you have to reevaluate everything. I don't think he decommitted from Ohio State to commit to us immediately. That's not what would happen there. So in my opinion, I think Dylan Raiola is going to commit around spring and summer, but he's going to keep his options open, and he's going to come on an official visit here. And he's going to come on an official visit to Georgia and maybe USC and other schools that he's really interested in. But I think really what's happening with peer recruiting is the staff is the one peer recruiting. The staff's telling recruits, 2024 recruits, "Hey, Dylan Raiola is going to commit here," right? They feel it. They think so. The way they talk on Twitter, they think he's going to commit. So they're basically saying, "Hey, we think Dylan Raiola is going to come. You better come too." And that's kind of where I think it's coming from. But a lot of interesting stuff there with the Dylan Raiola situation. And there's a lot of talking points about Raiola. I really want to talk about his brother. I have this scenario made up basically where Dylan Raiola commits to us, plays quarterback here for 3 years, goes off to the NFL, and then his brother Dayton, who's class of 2026, takes over and starts 2 years ago to the NFL for us. So that's kind of my dream scenario, but that's kind of the scenario I have made up in my head. But I wanted to get into that a little bit later. But yeah, Aeryn Hampton obviously interested in us. So Rule mentioned him actually in the press conference on sign day. If you were listening, he basically was saying he was talking to a top recruit in Texas and how the recruit was super interested in Nebraska. And then Aeryn Hampton tweeted out a day later, basically, he was like, yeah, that was me. That was me. So he's a guy to watch. He released, I think, his top 10 or something. I don't really buy all those top 10 lists. Like, they're so large where it's insignificant, but that's a guy to watch for a little while. This 2024 class, it's really loaded. I want to go over hold on. I want to go over the in-state players in this class. I mean, you got Carter Nelson, who is a 4-star tight end, who really high on my board of guys I want. Isaiah McMorris, who actually led the state in receiving yards in Class A this year, 3-star receiver in state. You also got Caleb Benning. Everybody knows about Caleb Benning, defensive back from Westside, son of, or did I say Caleb Benning? Caleb Benning, son of David Benning. There's another guy who, in my opinion, might be the best prospect in state this time next year in Caleb Pyfrom, who is a three-star massive offensive lineman from Central. I want to look up his height really quick here. I don't have it on me. Yeah, he's 6'5", 300 pounds as a junior in high school. I mean, the dude's massive. We watch his film. I love that guy. I think he's going to be an absolute freak. If you remember Deshaun Woods, who was an offensive lineman for Central a couple years ago, I think Pyfrom is going to be 2 times better as a senior in high school. So take that for what it's worth. And last but not least, I think Devon Hall is still the number 1 recruit in Nebraska for this class, but he is a 4-star receiver from Bellevue West, and he's been a stud since he was a sophomore in high school. I mean, really good player, really good hands, and he's a guy who has been interested in Nebraska for a while. I expect us to lock him down. Another notable player in class 2024, Mario Buford, 4-star cornerback from DeSoto, Texas. He's actually the brother of Marquez Buford, who is a defensive back. You might know him for Nebraska right now. And really good back. Last time I checked, he was a top 100 recruit. I want to confirm that really quick. No, he's not but he's a 4-star. He's a 4-star top 200 recruit on 24/7. So he's a guy I really want to lock down. And Rule says he's going to lock down the state of Texas. There you go. You got a brother of a teammate, and he's in Texas. There you go. We've also made a couple new offers I really want to briefly look over. A couple 5-stars that we've went after. Williams Nawari, 5-star defensive lineman. He's actually the 3rd-ranked player in the class, according to 24/7. Really big player. I watched a little bit of his film. There's a reason why he's ranked number 3. I mean, sack monster. He's an explosive defensive lineman. I don't expect us to grab him, but and he's from Missouri. I should mention that. But it's interesting to see these type of offers going out. They are still going after a big pool of players, similar to Frost did. I don't think they're going to offer everybody like Frost did. Frost would just throw out offers to about 300 kids, but they're still going after a couple guys. And the more notable the more notable offer was 5-star Micah Hudson out of Texas. And I watched a little bit of his film. He's a stud. 1,000 yards last year. A lot of scouts are comparing him to Garrett Wilson. He reminds me a lot of Garrett Wilson too. Really fast, great hands, quick player. And again, he's from Texas. They're trying to lock down that state. They're trying to get in there like we did back in the good old days. And by good old days, I mean the Bo era. I'm just kidding. But they're trying to get back in the state of Texas, and that's a good way to get in there with Micah Hudson. That's something to watch with him. I want to look at his offer list really quick here because I was looking at his Twitter page. Didn't report too many offers. But yeah, there are a bunch of offers here. So Alabama, Michigan State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Oregon, the whole crew here for Micah Hudson, one of the most promising wide receivers in the class of 2024. 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. You know, the whole deal. So that's about the 2024 class right now. And really quick, I want to talk about the players coming back. So we've had a couple a couple guys basically saying whether they're going to come back or not. We have Colton Feist, who announced that he would not be coming back. I'm not mad about that. I don't think Colton Feist was amazing. He was admirable. There's a difference, but I think I'm going to use this a lot. There's a difference between amazing and admirable, and sometimes Nebraska fans get like they don't understand the difference between the two. He was admirable. He did his job. He was all right, but he was forgettable. He wasn't a game changer. He wasn't an impact maker. Right? He was just another guy who did his job. So I think he's pretty replaceable. But shout out to Colton Feist, man. I respect him a lot. Walk-on player who earned his way up to scholarship and started. I respect that a lot, but I don't think it's really that much of a loss. Going on to Garrett Nelson, he announced that he would be entering the NFL draft. I thought that was interesting. It's funny because Garrett Nelson was rumored a little bit that he might even transfer. I didn't really think he was coming back from the get-go, but that's interesting that he's going to enter the draft. I don't know where he goes in the draft. I'd assume he goes undrafted. He's a great player, but the production's really not there compared to a lot of prospects, and he doesn't have that raw athletic ability to get him drafted no matter what. So, but I love Garrett Nelson. I mean, true grinder, true black shirt. He will go down as one of the more memorable players during the Frost era. O'Shawn Mathis, this happened a couple weeks ago, but I just wanted to gloss over a little bit. He's going to the NFL draft. So that's a little bit of a loss, but let's be real here, he was a pretty big letdown from what we wanted, from what we expected coming from TCU. But that is a loss. But the big one is A.J. Allen says that he is going to be back. So that was a big one. A.J. Allen, we didn't know if he was going to come back at all, really. We didn't know where he stood with the new staff. In my opinion, and I told you guys this, there were a couple. I had a very short list of players that I wanted this staff to lock down when they got in town, and A.J. Allen was probably number one on that list because he's the most talented back we have had in Lincoln probably since Amir Abdullah, just from a pure talent, raw talent perspective. I mean, he's an absolute stud. And you saw it when he ran last year. I mean, that's a running back one written all over it, and he should be our running back one going into next year. So absolutely a huge get back. And I said I was going to mention Casey Thompson, and here it is. Again, I spoiled it. I don't think Casey's coming back. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because, in my opinion, Casey is a lot better than Jeff Sims. But I think Casey was disrespected by the get of Jeff Sims. He was disrespected. He said online that there wasn't going to be a quarterback battle if he came back. He said on Instagram, he said and his dad was saying something. I'm not sure what his dad said, but I've just heard smoke. His dad wasn't happy. His family isn't happy about it. And if you really think about it, when it comes to Casey, he has no reason to come back. He already has his master's degree. He's 24 years old. And really, when he came to Nebraska, the goal wasn't to stay 2 years here. The goal was to either play 1 year here and enter the NFL draft, or play 1 year here, get your master's and get out. So playing 2 years really wasn't in the playing field for him. So I guess I'm a little bit confused why it's taking him this long to announce he's not coming back. I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility that he returns, but I highly doubt it, especially with this get of Jeff Sims. So, yeah, and really quickly, I wanted to mention Alante Brown. He had a couple cryptic messages on social media, basically saying he wasn't going to come back, but that all cleared up. So, yeah, so that's really it going on with Nebraska football. I just wanted to make a quick show. And again, I want to thank you all for the support that I've been getting recently with my latest video. It's at around 6,000 views now. That's amazing. So thank you guys all. I really love making this content. I really like talking Nebraska football. I really want to really gloss over when I'm going to make my videos. So I'm thinking, at least for now, every Friday. So you can expect videos on Friday coming out. So if you don't want to miss any content, hit the subscribe button. We're going to be talking everything Nebraska football this offseason, every single edition, and we'll have mega shows on Friday. So you can expect some videos every now and then talking about a new recruit or new commit. But if you want a video glossing over everything that's going on, come to this channel on Fridays. We'll be making videos, and they'll be uploaded for you to watch. So thank you guys all for the content. Once again, please subscribe and go in the bio. I have my Twitter on there, and I really want to get that Twitter involved in case you guys have questions or that you want me to address on the videos. And but yeah, thank you guys all for watching. This has been Nebraska football wrap up, and yeah, have a great day.